Hey, so in this video, we're going to be doing an application of the law of cosines, and more specifically, we're going to be using the alternate form of the law of cosines. All right, so our problem says that a ship travels 60 miles due east and then changes direction as shown in this diagram. Now, after traveling 80 miles in this new direction, the ship is 139 miles from its point of departure. So we're going to describe the bearing from point B to point C. Okay, so let's kind of look at the information we were given and relate that to our diagram. All right, so we were given this 60 miles due east, right? So here's our 60 miles due east. And then we were told that we made some kind of a directional change and we traveled 80 miles in this new direction. So here's our 80 miles, right, in that new direction. And when the boat took its new reading, it said that we were 139 miles, right? 139 miles from our original point of departure. And so that's this distance right here, right? So if we look at this, we actually see that we've been given a side, side, side oblique triangle. And we're going to need to find our angle because our bearing, right, that it's asking for, that's our angle that we're looking for, okay? It wants us to know, not us know, it wants us to find out, like, what was this directional change that happened, okay? So since we're finding an angle, we want to use the alternate form of the law of cosines, specifically for angle B, right? And so that's what this is right here, specifically for angle B. So we're going to take all the values we were given, because we have side A, side B, and side C, and we're going to plug that in. So when we plug that in, we have the cosine of B equals 80 squared plus 60 squared minus 139 squared, all divided by 2 times 80 times 60. That is definitely something that we would love to plug into a calculator. We're going to be able to make this a lot easier if we just do kind of everything in one swoop. So we know we also want to separate our cosine of B from the B. So not really our cosine of B from the B, but more of our cosine from the B. So in order to do that, we're going to take the inverse cosine of both sides to eliminate that cosine. And so that's going to give us, the measure of angle B is the inverse cosine of 80 squared plus 60 squared minus 139 squared, all divided by 2 times 80 divided by 60. So we plug that into our calculator, and that's going to tell us that we're going to have an approximate answer of 166.15 degrees. So how does that relate to our bearing, right? Well, the bearing measured from due north from point B to point C is going to be approximately 166.15 minus 90 degrees, right? And so that value, which is 76.15, we're going to be able to take that and write that as our bearing. So our bearing is north 76.15 degrees east. And that is our answer.